For those of you online, if you could let me know if you can't see me or hear me or see my screen, that'd be great. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Everything's good.
Can see you and hear you.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. We're going to get started here in just a couple minutes. I'm going to allow everybody to get signed in and funnel into class here. Hold on. That's right here. Right. Thanks. All righty, we'll go ahead and get started here. So today is the postcard class. So we'll be going over how you can send out postcards through Command. It's one of my favorite features of Command because it's pretty cool. It allows you to even circle on a map an area that you're looking to farm or send postcards to, and it collects all those addresses and actually sends them out directly to their mailbox. So it's a really cool feature in Command. First and foremost, I am your MCTT. I am Jules. And if you ever want to book a 30-minute appointment with us to do any of this that I talk about together, we are more than happy to do it in a 30-minute appointment together. All you would need to do is click I need tech help in the top right corner of the KWB resources website. And that will bring you right to our Calendly so that you can book an appointment with us. It is a once a week limit. So once a week, you're able to book with us. I will also point out under Tech Resources and Tech Tuesdays calendar that as we have these classes, if you're ever wondering what the next topic for next class is, you can always check here to see if that's something that may interest you for next class. Yeah, it is a cycle of how to build a $120,000 database. Yeah, in those first weeks were like really kind of the main chunk of it, but this the last few weeks here, we're really going to talk about just all the things Command can do to really help build this database, as well as just your other business in general, not just your sphere. So today we will be primarily in Command. So that is at agent.kw.com. agent.kw.com, and we're going to sign in here with our KW credentials. Now, there's a couple places we are going to go before we jump into the campaign section, which is where we're going to be to do the postcard send outs. But to start class, I do want to point out one thing or a couple things. So if we click on our name in the top right corner and go to settings, so under settings, again, that is clicking our name and going to settings, and then connect settings on the left-hand side in marketing profile. Just want to show you where all your information from command is pulling. So as we look at designs today, stuff like your headshot, your logo if you have one, your bio, the Market Center logo. These items that we can easily grab from the design section is pulling from your marketing profile. So if you ever get a change of a phone or email, this will be the main spot that you'd want to change that. So, oh, then just a heads up, anything you're changing on this page, if you scroll to the very bottom, that's where the save button is, just so that's not hidden at all. But before we dive into the postcard, we're actually going to start looking at landing pages first. So the reason that is because we can actually put a QR code on these postcards to really bring this print marketing to life. So strategically, it is recommended that no matter what print marketing you do, a flyer, a sign, a postcard, putting a QR code on it really makes it a lot more valuable and really an active marketing piece. So if they're scanning, and we'll talk about a couple examples, one of those examples will be setting up a landing page so that you can actually, when they scan it, you can actually capture their information. Because I mean, when you send out a postcard, of course, that's giving a great touch for them to remind you them that you're in real estate. But if you just send it without a QR code or anything like that, there's not a real way for you to capture that information or you to reach back out to them.
Hey, Jules, I got a question.
Yeah.
If you go on, like, well, you're not there right now, but if you were to go on to like Keller Williams Ballantyne website where it's like find an agent, right? And it goes through all those like thumbnails of the 518 agents that are there.
Yeah.
One of the items on that thumbnail is licensed in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I can't figure out where in this section that's located to add a South Carolina, even though there's like a license number, right? Second one down under first name.
Is it on kw.com that you're?
Yes. Well, it's on the
Okay.
it's on the Ballantyne one. So
Oh.
I think KW, it's kwballantynearea.com.
Oh, okay. Hold on. KW Ballantyne area. Oh, area.com.
And then explore at the top. And then meet our agents. And then see how it says licensed in North Carolina next to the phone number?
Yeah.
I can't figure out where that's editable.
Good question. It is the marketing profile? Yeah. This? Okay. So, yeah, someone in class said that he was having a similar issue and he updated this section.
Okay, the professional job title.
Yes.
Marketing profile, and then it has all your my details.
Mhm.
Go to your my details, you can update the job title, your slogan, the potential, whatever designations that you have.
And that pulls here. Okay.
It should update that because I have the same issue too, because it's all connected to.
Okay.
I'm just working on that like 2 minutes.
Wow. He was just working on that 2 minutes ago, he said.
Okay. So what do I have to put in that professional job title?
Yeah,
Like-
Whatever you want.
and then that's where that pull license in North Carolina.
Update, I mean, it updated instantly on my website.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So yeah, try under my details, and it may also, I'll look into if it's pulling from the white pages at all, or when more, like the back end for the staff.
Right.
That's a really good question. So yeah, try this, the marketing profile. I think it does pull from there, but I'm gonna also check a couple other spots.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All righty. So yeah, in regards to that QR code, right? Having that on print marketing is huge, just to bring your print marketing to life. So we're going to do an example today with like a landing page to show you how you can utilize that on print marketing. But I may also just recommend or just throw out there, a video can also be made into a QR code. So, as we're talking about maybe like a farming postcard, how cool would it be if you had yourself on video talking about that neighborhood, really in depth, so that you're really branded as a specialist in that neighborhood, as well as when anyone Googles that neighborhood on Google, typically the only information out there is that HOA page or just like one website. But if you make a video on a specific neighborhood, well, your video, you're going to pop up first on Google, and that will really brand you as a specialist for that neighborhood. So yeah, you have a question? Okay, well, feel free, pop in anytime with questions or anything. So, I mean, strategically, I really love the idea of utilizing a video, and I will show you how you can put that on a landing page. But there's also different ways that we can utilize a QR code for print marketing, and I'll show you that today. Yeah.
Is there a way to create the landing page without doing your campaign? Because you brought up a really good point about
I think your answer is yes, but okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can do exactly that, because the landing page, it's gonna create a link for you so you can post that on social media, in an email, exactly like you're saying. So let's go ahead and actually start with a landing page today. So we're going to go under this consumer section, which is the last icon on the left-hand toolbar. And as you're learning these icons, you can click the KW in the top left to expand those out, get used to those. But we're going to go over to consumer, the consumer tab. Now it's first going to show me my agent site pages. So this is on your actual live website. But we can click over to landing pages to see if you have any active landing pages created right now, which is totally fine if you don't. We'll create one today. And a landing page is something different than your website pages. So your website page, right, that's like yourname.kw.com. You can have pages associated with that. And let me just show you. So this is my website I'm opening up. So, right, these agent site pages are your pages on your actually live website. So these are those agent site pages here. Landing pages, though, are actually separate from your website, and they're kind of like a standalone website, and their purpose truly is for lead generation, is to capture lead info. Now, the first postcard I'm going to start with today is going to be a listing postcard. So if you have a listing, how you can go about that. And then I'll also do a farming postcard as well. But I'm going to start with a listing postcard today. So if for that, I'm going to actually create a listing landing page. So to create a landing page, I'm going to click Create New Page in the top right. And again, we're not going to do this on my agent site page. We're going to do this as a landing page. And then click Create Page. Now, first thing I like to do with any pages is in the top left, we can give this a name so that you know which page this is to edit it. I'm just going to use the address I'm going to use today. Okay. Now, using this landing page, we're going to use the widgets on the right-hand side and click and drag those over to the left-hand side to create our landing page. For listing, I always like to use the branded header. So we can click this widget and drag that over to the left-hand side. And you'll see that green line appears, and that's exactly where it's going to drop. So if I release my mouse now, that will drop and put in my information. And this is all pulling from that marketing profile we took a look at. I like to do the branded header right up front, just so your information is right up top, right there. Next, I like to put a lead capture form near the top so that's not missed at all. So again, same kind of deal. We're going to click the widget on the right-hand side and drag that over. Find that green line and make sure it's just dropping below that branded header, right? And release your mouse and get that to appear. Now we can update what this says right here, but I'm going to do that in just a second. I like to get all my widgets onto my page before editing anything. The last one I'm going to do is a listing widget so that I can provide more information about this listing. Now you can put that above that lead capture form if you'd like, or you can put it below. We're going to release our mouse and that's going to put that in there. Now this is going to be a random listing, no worries, we're going to update all of this. So once you've got your widgets over to your page, next we're going to want to click Configure Widgets on the bottom right. And please let me know if you have any questions or if I can slow down. So Configure Widgets on the bottom right. So I like to just start at the top. We're trying to get check marks on all of these, but I like to just start at the top here to make sure everything looks good. So you can give this a header if you'd like. So if you'd like, say like proudly presenting. Yeah.
Well, my widgets aren't dragging.
Oh, do you have a mouse at all? Or is it
I
just
do,
a
but it's
touch?
in there.
I think
it's
I've
not
had
good.
someone struggle with the tapping about it before. So I think a mouse, but. So anything that you're editing on this right-hand side, so again, that should pull from the marketing profile, but you can edit that here. And then clicking Save and Apply in the bottom right, you'll find that it comes right over. Next, I can click the arrow in the top right to move me to the next widget to start editing that. So next right is this lead capture form. I could say something like, contact me for a private showing. And then again, right, clicking Save and Apply in the bottom right will make that populate right away. Let's move to the next widget by clicking that arrow in the top right. Now we can select our listing. So we can click Browse Listings to search for that. And just a heads up, you can search by property address, MLS number, or KWS ID if you click that drop down up there. And then we can select that listing. And then it will allow you to choose this main header photo. So typically I like to just use that front photo of the house, but let's say, for example, it has a cool pool or something else you want to highlight, you can choose a different listing photo here. But then clicking Save and Apply will actually change this information here, which is all pulling from the MLS. So all this information, the description, the pictures, a map view, truly providing them with all the MLS information for this listing. And there you go. That's a listing landing page created. So that now this is something that we can put on this postcard so that people can find out actually more information about this listing that you're sending a postcard out about, while also giving you the option to capture their lead information in case they're interested. So we can click Publish Page in the top right corner to make this live. This is going to say you're updating this page. Now, when we are brought back here, we are seeing our agent site pages. We just need to come over to landing pages to see that page we just created. Now, this is a pretty crazy URL. You are able to change the ending slug of the URL. So how you would do that is by clicking these 3 dots to the far right of the page name and clicking change URL. And see here that you can just update that like last ending part, just so it's not so crazy of a URL. And click create. And you can also click on this page. It is hyperlinked in here, so you can see, what that page is looking like. All right, we've got that created. Now let's actually go into the campaign section for those postcards. So under the campaign section, which is this megaphone icon, you'll be first brought to your dashboard for campaigns, but you can click on direct mail near the top to open up your direct mail dashboard so that you can see all that's going on for your direct mail. We can click create campaign in the top right and then direct mail to get started on this. Now we'll prompt with a campaign name and goal. No one else sees this but you, so this is just for your organization purposes. And a goal. And then create campaign. Now, because I chose that my goal was to advertise a listing, it came up with this pop-up to find that listing. Now, currently it's showing me only my listings that are active, but we can change this show to all listings for one. And we can change the status to all statuses. So you can search for like all listings for this. And I believe compliance-wise, of course, always check with Sabra and Tasha. But you can, if you get an agreement signed, you can advertise other KWB listings. So if you don't have your own listing, you can talk to another agent to see if it's okay if you advertise theirs. So we can just search for that property address, or again, you can click that property address drop down and you can search by these options as well. So we're going to find our listing and then click select when we find that. Perfect. That's going to add that in. And really our goal here for this campaign is to get check marks down all of these items here. So next we can go to content and clicking that arrow to expand that out. So there are a couple options here. So you can select a template use, and that's what we're going to do for our first example today, using a template. The thing with templates, so they're very user-friendly. So it's very much putting in the listing details, and it's going to create a postcard for you. The cons there are it's just very limited in customization. So filling out these fields, you can't change where any of the items are. You can't change the colors, the fonts, anything like that. It's purely a template. But it is very easy to use. So what you can do, first, you can select a template. Now you'll see that there are different sizes available. There's 6x9, 6x11. Of course, that's going to change the cost of it. But these templates are also different. So if you click on default template, you'll see in this preview on the right-hand side, right, that changed how that looked. I'll do another one to show you that preview change, right? That just made it look like this. And then large contemporary, that made it look like this. Honestly, playing around with it is how I kind of choose which template I'm going to use. So for example, this one, I thought this one looked the best. Put the address right there. But of course, you can play with this to see which ones you like, and of course, the size that you like as well. And then all this information is pulling from the MLS. So it should be right, but you can change it, of course. The only thing you do need to select here is that what status it's under. So let's just say it's just listed, and you'll see that on the preview on the right-hand side that did add that in. Another thing to look out here, a lot of times the descriptions can go over this character limit. So just making sure that looks good. And then coming down here, this is where we can choose a listing image or photo for this postcard. So you can upload your own, or you can go over here to listing image and allow that to pull from the MLS. Now you'll see those red exclamation points appear. Those will always appear for you because they're not in the exact size that they want, like command wants it to be in. From my experience, I've always used the listing images and it's turned out good, like no problems. So you will receive like a message here, but I would always recommend just checking out the final preview, which I'll show you, just to make sure that looks good to you. Because this has worked for me every time. And I'll show you where you can check to make sure that looks good. So I'm just going to go ahead and click that front photo. And then right underneath that, that's going to be your information, again, pulling from your marketing profile. But of course, feel free to change anything that looks incorrect and click Save. From this. So this is not for Facebook. So this is just for postcards. So that's where we're going to select next. Yep. And that's my favorite part. It's pretty cool. So we got the content there. So we can see a preview on the right-hand side, but I will point out this note on top of there that this is not an official preview. The official preview will show up after the configure targeting. And a lot of times will look a lot different. So just a heads up there. Next, we're going to go to Market Center. Again, this should be pretty much filled out. Every single time I do have to fill out the state and zip code. But once I click verify address, it will always pop up to validate the Market Center address, and we can just click confirm to give us that check mark there. Now, because we picked the listing, targeting was already filled in for us. So you'll see that pulled the listing address right into targeting. And you do have a budget field here. But this is able to be changed on the next page. So I honestly don't take a big look at this here, but I'll show you exactly where that's going to show you on the next page. So we got all our checks. So now we can go to configure targeting in the top right corner. And yes, we want to create this page. So this is where I think it gets pretty cool. So this is a target map of all the homes around that area. So first, it does default in a radius. So it's pulling the closest 200 homes in the radius around that listing we put in. So it knows all those property addresses, it postages them and sends them right to their door. A physical postcard, yep. So command knows all these addresses. It works with real mailers for that and sends it right to their door. So you can do a radius, right, around 200. You can change this to, let's say you want to hit 300 homes, right? So, right, and then it will pull the closest 300 homes. Now, maybe you don't like it, right? Maybe you're trying to get a specific area, and this might be more applicable for farming. But there is also a draw tool. So instead of like doing the closest 300 homes, we could draw around where exactly we want that to hit. So maybe I want to skip that street and just circle right here, right? Now it's going to reconfigure that, pulling just where I circled, pulling those addresses for me. And you'll see that the number of homes in the top left changed here. And now it's only pulling 253 homes. That's where I circled. Now I can click reset to go back here. The last tool available is a polygon, very similar to the drawing tool. It's just a click, like a click drawing. So I can click and do the line and then click to change directions and then click to change directions kind of deal. Very similar to drawing. And right, it's going to pull those homes. So other than the like radius, so I can do a 200 homes, I can also filter. So if I, really want to target certain square footage, maybe doing a whole campaign on older houses and I want to target those older houses, you can filter by these items. Again, so why I didn't pay too much attention to that budget field is because here I can always update the quantity if I want. And I can always update the postage. So postage, the standard is just how long it takes to get to their mailbox. Standard will take 7 to 14 business days, while first class will take 4 to 6 business days. So with a listing that's just listed, maybe first class versus
The standard was how long?
7 to 14 business days, and first class was 4 to 6 business days. And then I can also click to send a copy to the company address. I always like to do that just so I can see what they're actually receiving, also when they receive it, so that I can be ready for some responses. And then I can click next. And this is where that final preview really displays. You can click view a larger preview to view this like as a PDF. And this is what I would really look out for. So, right, this is going to also put in that postage so we can see where that's going to be. And this is really like a final preview, making sure all your information is correct before pressing send. And then, the last is just putting in your email card information. Again, that
could be any kind of postcard, like just for you to advertise.
Exactly. And we'll do one of those next, kind of just more of a farming postcard. If you don't have a listing, like more farming and how that will look. Because, right, so that was a like walkthrough of using the templates like through that campaign section. But we can also use designs in Command to create different kind of templates. Yeah. Oh, yes. And it really, a command really makes it easy. Oh. Yeah, I've gotten really good feedback with like how much it's like typically like 200 postcards, like for the smallest size is $136. So, and it sends it out for you. Like, so it really does the whole thing. I really did miss a part, like an important part though, when setting that up. So if you don't mind, if we're under our direct mail dashboard. So anything that you're drafting, just a heads up, this is where you'd find that. And then you can click the 3 dots to the far right to edit it. So you don't have to create that all in one. You can't save it as a draft and come back. But the whole thing, we started with a QR code and the landing page. So I forgot that part. So yeah, I will point out anytime you come back to the campaign and a draft, you always have to update the Market Center info. It will just always make you resave it. But here next to this, it says QR code at the bottom. We can turn on this tracking for it to add that QR code. So once we turn that toggle on, you'll see that the landing page assign becomes ungrayed so that we can choose that landing page that we just created. And this is why it's good to give it a name. So that, and let me see if it displays right away. Yep. Like on the back of it, it will put that QR code to that landing page so that, again, so they can see more information on the listing as well as you can actually capture that lead information in case they're interested. So sorry about that misstep, but that is like right underneath that preview. All right. All right, so now we're going to do more of a farming piece. Now, again, I would recommend a video would be really cool. on like a neighborhood that you're looking to farm. And we can add that to a landing page as well. So I'm going to start with a landing page for this as well again. I'm going to come under consumer. And I'm going to go to my landing page dashboard just to see that all in there. And just a heads up, when those contacts fill out your landing page, those automatically go into command. So there's not an import extra step there. No, your lead information goes straight into command so you can start marketing with them. So let's go up and create a new one for this. So I'm going to do create new page and adds a landing page. Create page. So again, I'm always liking to give that a title in the top right or left first. Just works. I'm going to do it with what I'm farming. I'm going to farm Hunter Oaks. So branded header first. Get your information right up top. We're going to click and drag that over. Next, that lead form so that we can capture that lead information. So same steps, click and drag that over with that green line displaying right underneath it. And then we can release to get that to display. And then for this, so if you're wanting to do a video, you can add a video widget here. If you do a video, I would recommend putting that maybe on top of it, just so your face is right up top. So it will come in like a template. And anytime we're wanting to edit anything on a landing page, we're just going to want to click configure widgets on the bottom right. And again, I like to always just start on the top, making sure everything looks correct. And then I can click that arrow next to one of three to move to my next widget, saying I have 3 widgets on this page. I'm going to move to my second widget. So here you can put in your video. So if you have a video, you put in a headline, a description. You know, if you're hosting on YouTube or Google Drive, you can put in the URL, or you can just upload it from your device. I don't have an example of a video today, but that is how you would go about adding that in. For today, I'm going to use the example of a market snap. So this gives a market overview of a specific area. So I can click and drag that over. Now it can be above, it can be below your lead capture form, up to you. And then now I'm going to go back to configure widgets so I can actually edit this or update it. Move down to my next widget. And I just usually leave the header blank because it's going to fill in once I enter the rest of the information. But here is you can put in, you know, that neighborhood zip postal code. And then a list of neighborhoods will appear once you put in a postcode. Now, these are not in alphabetical order, which is a total pain. So you do have to just find it. Don't know when they're going to update that. Let me know if you see Hunter Oaks. That was at the bottom. Aha. All right, so we found it. And when I click save and apply, you'll see that header on top will change too. So if I click save and apply, so it changes it to Hunter Oaks for me. And it gives the active and sold stats for that neighborhood or for that market. Now, one note here, since we are talking about neighborhoods and this market snap, this is pulling from Nextdoor. Sometimes, just a heads up, sometimes neighborhoods you may find don't have like information with them. Now you can always reach out to KW support for them to take a look at that. But a lot of times what the problem is that Nextdoor, it just, there's a difference between like neighborhoods here and like neighborhoods in Chicago or New York. So then sometimes that causes some issues with that neighborhood stats. If you ever have issues, KW support will be the ones to look at that. But I want to give you a heads up beforehand if you ever see anything like that. So we got our market snap here. I can move to click that arrow on the top right to move to my next widget. Now I could update this if I'd like. I'll probably just leave it as interested. Let's talk. But of course, you can put anything here. All right. So now we can go ahead and publish this page to make it live. Yes, we'll want to publish it. Again, we are brought right back to our agent site pages. So let's go to landing pages so we can see all those. I always like to change that ending URL. So I'm going to do that by clicking the 3 dots to the far right and doing change URL. I'm just going to name this like Hunter Oaks. And again, you can click on it to actually see what that's going to look like. Awesome. So with this URL, we can now go create a QR code with that. Now there's a couple ways. One, you can email support@scottleroymarketing.com. And all they need is the URL you want the QR code to go to, and they will send you a QR code back in 5 to 10 minutes. So they can do it for you if you would like, but I will walk through how you can do it in case you'd like to know that. So in another tab, I'm just going to use this tab here, or maybe this one. If you Google QR code generator, there'll be a bunch of options that display here. Now, the one we always use at Scott Leroy was this the-QR code-generator.com. But all of these QR code generators will do the same thing. And here, all it needs is that URL that we just created. So you can either come here, take the URL up there, or you can go to your landing pages and right click and copy link address. And then come back to that QR code generator. And under where it says enter URL, we can paste that in. And you'll see that QR code to the right will change when I paste that in. And then I can click download QR code, like this download icon. It just needs a name. So I'll just do Hunter Oaks landing page. And a PNG is perfect for this. I don't need to change any of these other settings, and click download. And that's how you can create a QR code anytime with any link that you have.
What was the name of that website?
It's then like dash QR code dash generator.com. All right, now we got a QR code ready to go for our postcard. Now I'm back in Command, and I am going to go to the design section. All right, under this design section, you may see a totally different screen here. These are all my current designs. So you may have nothing here, that's totally fine. We're gonna go create this design by clicking Create Design in the top right. And we're gonna wanna do this as print. And continue. That's gonna bring us into WeBrand with a bunch of cool templates. So on the left-hand side, you'll see that it's broken down by category. So you can, if you're looking for a specific category, you can look by category. And once you click on a category, you'll see that different options of categories appears like near the top, so that you can search for the postcard. Alternatively, you can also use the search bar in the top right and just type in postcard. And it will give you mostly postcards. So really, I'd recommend just looking through. You'll see as you scroll down, it will load more. So there are a ton of great options available. So really just going through them and finding one that works best for you and what you're looking for. But I'll show you how you can actually go and edit this. This is under designs, which is like that paintbrush icon on the left-hand toolbar. And I can go back, I think. Yeah. And then create design on the top right and print specifically. I'm going to use this design. Oh, one thing to point out as well. So these postcards, you'll find that in the name of them, you'll find the size in them. So this one's a 4x6 versus this one's a 6x9. I wonder if you can filter by that. I bet you can. Maybe you can't, but that's how I usually look out for those size differences. Is going to be when you hover over it, it should be in the title. And then I found that if it's not in the title, it's just a 4x6. So they should specify if it's a 6x9 or a 6x11 on that. So this one is a 4x6. I think I'm going to use this one. So I can just click use to start utilizing it. All right, so tips with using designs in general. So this will stay true with any designs that you're working with in this section in WeBrand. So to change text on a design, clicking on it once will allow you to change things like the font, the size, the color. So all the formatting of that text. Double clicking in the text box will allow you to actually change what's in there. I like the way this is looking, so I'm going to probably keep that text on the right. With images, I always like to click on the image I want to replace first. So if I want to change this out, I always click on it. If I was in like the text menu and I clicked on it, it would bring me right to the images menu. So this left-hand toolbar here. And so there's an extra toolbar that appears as you click on the side toolbar, this horizontal one. So you can add in images. So if you have images on your computer, you can add those right here to this design. But you also have options for stock images. So images that you can use without the copyright rules. My suggestion is to actually use this filter and only see the free ones, or else you will stumble upon ones that you have to pay for. So I like to just kind of look at all my free ones. So I check free and uncheck these, as well as uncheck Shutterstock, because those are never free. So I just check free and then I uncheck those 3 boxes so that I'm only seeing free ones for me to use. Oh, the filter is this icon on the search box. Yeah, great question. And then from here, I can search. So if I wanted to search, like search up Charlotte. Oh, what did I press? Oops, sorry. I could get very, local with this. There are pictures of Charlotte in here. So I could, since I'm clicked on this image, you'll see that this icon appears, which is like a circle-y icon. It will not appear if you're not clicked on an image. And this will allow you just to simply replace the image that's in there without having to reformat it. Because you'll see that if I click or if I hover over that, just a plus sign or like a plus icon, that will add it to my design, but I will have to either using these corner dots to resize it, or crop it with the top ones. And then anything on your design that you do not like, you can click on it and click backspace on your keyboard to delete it. You can also move around elements. So clicking on them, right, will get this to appear. Or I can move that around. So what this is, which is pretty cool, and I just realized what this is. So this is a market snapshot. So this is a really cool feature about designs. My favorite thing about designs like versus Canva or anything like that is that it's actually synced to the MLS so that you can search for like property details as well as like market details. So if we use the KWLS menu on the left-hand side, you'll see that we're first searching for listings. So if we do have a listing, we could search by these items and things like, you know, how many, the details, like the bedrooms and bath, the description, square footage, the photos will all pull in so that we can easily add them to our design. And let me just show you too, because I think it's pretty cool. We do need to find it. Here it is, and click select. But then you'll see, right, photos first come over right away, so that if we wanted to switch that out very easily, we could do that. If you click on listing details, you'll also find all the listing details come in here. So we can easily add in things like the address without typing that out, or any of the details that it has. Or, you know, even just having this pulled up to the left here makes it easier to add to my design. But for not a listing, so I'm going to go back. I can instead go under snapshots. And here I can search by a neighborhood name or a postal code. Something kind of rogues comes up. Make sure we find the right one. And then if we click on that one, we'll populate with a couple market snapshots. So one being this bigger graphic. So there's a few graphics that it populates. It populates this graphic, one of more of like a map, and then like a smaller one here. I'll use the smaller one in this case because I'm wanting to put it right there. So I can click the add image and resize that. And I actually might want to put that on this side over here. So I'm going to do some rearranging. So just to make sure it's big enough for them to be able to read. I'll do some rearranging here. Okay. Just also a keyboard shortcut to grab multiple items. So you'll see that these are all separate text boxes, but I want to grab all of them together. I can click on one and then hold down Control, maybe Command if you have a Mac, but maybe Control. And then it will select all of them. Also, my favorite keyboard shortcut is Control Z because it's undo. So any mistake you make, Control Z will help that. All right. So really, you know, I think the biggest bulk of the send out of postcards and Command is the creation of the postcard. So playing around, getting used to this section of Command or of designs will make this process a lot faster. But also, so things that you're not utilizing, you can click on and again, click backspace on your keyboard to delete it. You can also, when you click on an element, you'll find that in the top right, there's a few options like remove, but you can also duplicate it, rearrange it. So if it's like in the back, you can move it to the front and also like resize it. I'm just going to remove it. All right. And then, you know, we're working on the front of the postcard, but we can click on pages on the bottom right, and it'll say 2 on it, so that we can find the back of the postcard. So if you ever find that things are maybe misaligned like this, and I see this sometimes on bigger postcards because they resize the 4x7s, you can click on that element and expand that text box out so it's not falling down. For this message here, you know, a lot of times we see a testimonial, maybe a bio, or you can also kind of in words describe this market report, you know, what does that mean for them and their equity or something of value there. With your information here, again, with images, I always recommend clicking on the image first. Then coming to images. Now, under my assets, that should be pulling your profile picture from your marketing profile. If your profile picture is not there, you can always add it from your computer by clicking add. But if it's in your marketing profile, that should be pulling to my assets. So that since we're clicked on here, we can simply replace the image, that it's resized for us right away. Same thing with the logo. So all these designs will have this DBA name logo because a lot of KW market centers require that for compliance. But let's click on that logo first. A little finicky sometimes because it's so small. Should bring you to this logo section. If not, just click on logos. We'll have a KW's folder right here, but if you're under my assets, that should be pulling from the marketing profile where we have that, where we can click replace to add that right in. So maybe you don't have that's a team logo added in there. I don't have one, so I can just remove it. Maybe if that's the case, I move over this KW logo. And then again, with text boxes, we'll want to double click to start texting, to start typing in there. And clicking away once will still be selected on here, so we can change things like the color. And go ahead and fill that all out. So any questions with like editing the design? All right. So once that's edited, there are just an extra step here. So we're going to download it. So first we'll want to change the PDF standard to PDF for printing. That's going to be the best quality for printing. PDF standard will work, but PDF printing is better. This will automatically use the bleeds that command needs. So we'll not want to touch any of these settings up here. But under select pages, we need to download this one page at a time, like the front separately, then the back. So we can uncheck all pages and just select page 1 and download. You'll see this like download percentage thing in the bottom left. Make sure that's complete before downloading the other one. Awesome. And then download again. It should save that first setting this time. But again, under all pages, we want to uncheck all pages and just do page 2. So we're downloading them as separate files. Just make sure in the bottom left that that gets downloaded before you exit. Awesome. All right, now we can go back to command. I recommend just typing in the URL bar agent.kw.com to get you back there the quickest. And now we're going to go back to the campaign section to set up that direct mail campaign. So that megaphone icon on the left-hand toolbar. Again, this just brings us to all our campaign dashboard. We can click direct mail to see just our direct mails, to see what we have going on here. Then we can click create campaign in the top right and do direct mail. And again, we're going to give that a name and a goal just for our sake so we can be organized. Create campaign. So you'll see that since I did not pick a listing option, I don't even have a choice to pick a listing here. So the goal does matter, I guess, then for that part to pick out your listing. So if you do advertise a listing, be sure to click that option. So under content this time, Instead of select template, we're going to click on upload design. Here, it will break down exactly the requirements command needs. So if you do use another platform like Canva or something like that, I'd recommend coming here to create a campaign first, just so you can see what it's requiring. So the biggest thing, like if you're using an outside platform, it will be the size. So if you want a 4x6 postcard, like in Canva, you would create a custom piece with this dimension. And if you have any questions on like using Canva with this, we use that a lot. So feel free to book an appointment. We can walk through that. But you'll see that it does have to be PDF format, and the front and back need to be separate files. So that's why we downloaded them as separate. And here is where we can actually upload those files. So for front, of course, where we're going to want to find the downloaded front side. And then for the back, grab that back. So again, we can kind of see a preview on the right-hand side, but I would always wait till the final preview. Click Save. Market center information, same thing as last time. We're going to put in the state and zip code, verify the address, and always click Confirm address. Targeting. So just a heads up here, the last time we did a listing, so we did targeting around that listing location. I want to point out that you can also target my database. So, especially while we talk about this whole model 201 club and having a physical address for contacts. Why that's so powerful? If you have a physical address in there, through command, we can send them postcards right to their door. So having a physical address for them, however you find it, whether you reach out to them or maybe look in Realist, for their address, it would be very powerful to have because it will allow you to send postcards right to their door. So whether it be farming, whether it be a promotion that you're running, being able to send postcards right to their door is pretty cool. So that is a capability of doing target my database for any contacts that have addresses. Ooh, I will point out with that. So if you're targeting your database, command does want you to put in contacts like spouses, for example, as separate contacts, like John and Jane Smith for like DocuSign, and so you can market to them separately, right? Well, command works with real mailers with postcards, and real mailers kind of doesn't want you to put them in as separate because it's seeing those as two separate, or they both have the same address, so they're going to get 2 copies sent to their door. So that being said, and feel free to book an appointment, we can talk through all this, but as you are like loading in spouses, if you're planning on really utilizing this direct mail section with like spouses, for example, going through your spouses and making sure that only one of them is like maybe tag mailer, because you can like target them by tag. So if you tag just one of the spouses as mailer, that will allow them to not get duplicates. And I'll show you a best practice of that too after. For this example, I am just going to do local targeting. Now you will need to put in a street address here. Typically, if I'm like farming a neighborhood, I'll Google like the clubhouse address so I can get like an address in there. And that's typically what I do. But if you like know an address in there, you can always just type that in too. Right. And then we're going to go up to, again, you can change this section, but really you can change this information under configure targeting. So I'm just going to move there and click yes. Then we'll bring you back to this configure targeting screen. So again, it's defaulting on the closest radius 200 homes of that address I put in. But for farming especially, we can just draw around that neighborhood instead. So I can click draw, and I know that I'm going to want all this. Oops, hold on. Any mistakes you make, you can always just release and click reset. And then it does like bring you kind of back here. So I click on the address again and click enter. so I can get back here. Let's zoom on out. All right, let's try that again. Let's draw around right here. So that's pulling 673 homes. And I can see how much that would be like total wise if I scroll down a little bit. So I can see quantity up top and the cost at the bottom. Also, I really like, especially if you're trying to get precise, the polygon tool will probably be a better drawing capability to really get these lines, you know, if it has hard like lines or like a, you know, that will allow you to really get those precise lines in there. So you can, I would recommend sending a copy to here and then we can click next. And always click view a larger preview just to make sure that looks perfect and all your information is good and not blocked by this huge postage thing. And then, yeah, we just put in your email and card number and boom, send that out. Yes.
How did you get the second page of that postcard on?
Okay, gotcha. So let me just like go into the draft again. So under here, so under edit campaign and content. So we are under upload design. And then so the front would be uploaded there. And then the back, this is like a separate file. So if I remove this here, like I can like click browse or this button and just search for my computer for that. Yeah. Any other questions on that? Awesome. Okay. My last thing, I'll just show you best practices for that mailer tag if you are wanting to target your database at all with these postcards. So it is kind of a manual process, but I don't want you to have to like go through like one by one per se. So under contacts, your columns may look a little different here. So like I'm going to need to look at the primary address. So if you don't see primary address when you're coming in here, you can click to customize the columns. And you can check it if it's not checked to like add it and then move it up so that you can look at it and then click apply. Then we can actually click on primary address to sort, you know, by address. So the ones that are the same will be put together. And then when you click on, so, right, we want just one. If there's two of the same addresses, we want just one of them to be marked as mailer. So we can click on that checkbox on the left-hand side. And when we do that, a select bulk action field will appear. So like, I'll do it for this one. So any unique addresses. And then go up to select bulk action and add tags. And I would tag them like mailer or direct mailer. Like I have a mailer tag created, or you can create that tag. So that those spouses or anyone who has the same address aren't getting two copies of the same postcard. And then just to show you like targeting that tag, how that would look, it would be, you know, create campaign, direct mail. And then under targeting and target my database, we can click to add contacts. And then here we can search by that mailer tag. So if we check that, you know, we can then select all and add them to our campaign. That makes sense. They all had different addresses. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
As far as the video goes, use your phone to like, so let's say, yeah, use your phone to record the video and then upload it into command, or how does it?
Yeah, so yeah, you can use your phone, and the iPhones have great cameras. So I would recommend, you know, they really are great. So yeah, you can either like host. So if you were to take on your phone, if you wanted to host it on like YouTube, you could upload it to YouTube and take that URL, you could upload it to Google Drive and take that URL, or you could like send it to your computer as an attachment, like an email, or AirDrop it, and then like upload it from like your device. Yeah.
You have the ability to like, do a video, and send it out to your database, just only having their phone number, some have phone numbers, like, does it work like that, or
Phone numbers.
maybe you just have to have all?
Email would be the, yeah, you can't do attachments on Twilio. So you can attach that and. Correct. Yeah, yes, it'd be an email.
On the leads. Some might have. just phone number or some might have email addresses, but if I want to like cast that net to hit everybody, what would your recommendation be to try to capture those email addresses from those that don't have? I'm sorry.
No, yeah, that was a great, that was exact, and this is really what the 201 Club is all about, you know, is trying to, because yeah, you'll have, especially if you import them from your phone, there are probably a lot of phone numbers there versus like from your email, you have a lot of emails. So really 201 Club is all about systematizing how you go about reaching out to it. So I don't know if you guys have the Carolinas region, the smart plan from class from like Tech Tuesdays. So that one, and it's the smart plan associated with it. And the 201 Club is KW's model that, you know, they ran these stats with all these KW agents and found that if they had above 200 contacts in their database, or 201 was like that number, that they could build $120,000 business using their database. Now, that doesn't just mean though, like, yeah, phone numbers over here and emails. They're talking about full complete contacts with email, phone number, physical address, birthday, and home anniversary. So it's kind of overwhelming if you have like hundreds of contacts and you're like, okay, well, I need to get it all. So this smart plan, and feel free to book an appointment and we can talk about the smart plan, will remind you like 2 contacts a day, whatever you think's feasible, 2 or 3 contacts a day, to either go reach out to them for that information, or you can be like a sneaky ninja and like go look on Facebook and like, yeah.
What's up? I'm like, send me your email.
Yeah, and yeah, we like had an agent that reached out like just to get the contact information and came back with 6 to 7 leads because she had a reason to be one calling them, and they were like, "You're in real estate? I didn't even know. I'm looking for it." And she was like, "Great," you know. So of course, recommended is to pick up the phone and reach out to them or email them, you know, if you have their email. But if you can, like, if you don't want to reach out to them, you can. I know the realists, you can find their address and their home anniversary.
So there's some campaigns that are that, like, for that.
Oh,
Like, I sent out, you know,
Find out.
your text messages with something that would give them good reason to give you feedback.
that's a good question. I don't know if there's anything in command, but let's find out. So for this, I'm going to go under smart plans. And under smart plans, I'll find a library. And this is a library of what other agents and staff members have published for other agents to be using for their business. So for this one, like a missing email, I'm going to try to type in missing email and see if it comes up. Yeah, missing emails. Oh, and it's by Marty Miller. So that's good. So a couple things I look at when I look at the library. I look at how many downloads it has, and how many stars it has, just to make sure it's reputable. Marty Miller is, of course, reputable. But we can also like click view steps in the bottom left to see kind of a preview what that is. Like if you hover over it, it will give you a preview. So this one is a text example. So it would send them a Twilio text of asking for their email. So I'm going to go ahead and add it just to see what that is.
I can't follow along, so I'm stuck.
Yeah. It looks like I already have this already set up. So let me find it. Okay, cool. Oh, and there's a missing phone number one. Okay, we'll look at that one next. I didn't know. Yeah. Great stuff. So if you click on the pencil icon to the far right of that, that will let you open it up to see what it is. Okay, so, right, this is if you have Twilio. And Twilio is a platform through command that you can like bulk send and automate text message send outs. So this would be sending, hey, contact first name. And okay, this is good to point out. With agent created smart plans that you're grabbing from the library, a lot of times you'll find like placeholders, like your name here. You see how like this one's green and like kind of has the brackets? That's letting me know that this is a merge field that will actually pull in their information. But this your name is not green, so it's like not going to pull in any information. So, and a lot of times I'll see even like this, and the agent will put in their name and it will look like this. So anytime you download an agent made smart plan, always go to edit it to make sure you're not sending out other people's information. That's your information. Because I've had that many times. So, hey, contact first name, and then we put in our name. So I'll put in, it's Jules Bass with KW. I hope all is well with you and your family. I was going to just check in via email, but realized I have your number, but not your email. What's your email address? Also, send me your home address and I'll send you an update on homes that have recently been listed in your neighborhood so that you can check out pricing and pictures. If you like the update, I'll keep sending it monthly. If you don't, you can always unsubscribe. But yeah, I like the way that sounds.
Taking me about 24 hours.
Same. Same. That's what I like so much about these agent ones. It's like, yeah, not having to recreate the whole wheel. It's just like having me and like even this something working. You can edit everything. Yeah, you can edit everything it says in there, so you can make it really sound like you. And yeah, and two, you can always like put your contact information at the bottom or whatever that may be. And then yeah, let's look at that email one. Yeah, no, Mhm.
I thought about maybe learning more about maybe the down payment assistance program. So I could go in, make it about that, like, hey, let me send you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any way you want.
Yeah, any way you want. So yeah, with these smart plans, you can use the library to search to see if there's anything like it. You can also, like if you're under my smart plans here, you can click create in the top right, create a totally custom one. So full of emails or here, I'll just show you. So yeah, let's say you really want, something around something specific. You can come in here and create kind of like your own campaign. So we're going to use the actions on the right-hand side to make your campaign on the left-hand side. So like, let's say we want to start this with an email. We can make this a simple email. So we can just like type, or you can even choose from your designs from command. So you can create those. And then, so let's say on the first day, it sends them an email about whatever that you want. And then you set a delay of 3 days. Then they receive another email saying X, Y, and Z. And then you can set a little delay of maybe a week. And then you can set it to remind you to make a call to them. You know, you can make it so if you want to send a text and you have Twilio, you can send a text to them after those 7 days. So yeah, you can really make this purely custom if you want. So just the idea there. Also, yeah, I want to see maybe what that missing email one is or phone number one is. So this is sending them an email. Looks like I did put in my information here. So hi, contact first name. It's JuLeah Bass with Keller Williams. Wanted to reach out because I went to text you yesterday and realized although we've talked, I must have never gotten your number or somehow lost it. Yeah, just like asking, yeah. So would recommend checking out those. I think those are good ones. Yeah. No, yeah. Big change. Right, yeah. Especially when it's just so not integrated with real estate at all. And yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a really cool tool, and it's really cool what it can do. And I'm gonna give another, this is a more next level tip, but I really like it. So with that, like missing, this is the example of the missing email. So you can add a trigger event to these smart plans to make your life a little easier. So like if I went to add a trigger event, you can only do this by tag, but like I can make it so you do have to set up this tag beforehand. But right, if I set up that contacts, that the trigger event is a contact tag, and I choose this as a trigger, that means anytime I then moving forward tag a contact as that, it will automatically start the smart plan. So it's as easy as tagging them instead of having to add them to the smart plan. It's called a trigger event. And it's always at the top of smart plans. You can always set one up for any smart plan that you do, so even a custom one. But so, yeah, so that way it won't add any existing contacts with that tag. But now anytime I'm going to tag missing email for a contact, it will send this text message to them with just that tag. Yeah.
What do they say, like, how much time should you spend
You know, that would, yeah, there's just so lot. That's the best. Yeah, command that's the double-edged sword. There's a lot to do, but there's a lot to learn. I mean, honestly, I would recommend making an appointment with us, and then we can like dive into it together, because really each and every one of your businesses is very different, and like how your audience will react on social media and versus like other audiences, and like even text messages, you know, that Twilio, how some audiences react to text messages in general. Like some people think they're impersonal, while some people think they're super personal. So that's why, yeah, we love to dive into that in our meetings, and we can really show you what to implement first in your business within command. Because yeah, you don't need to learn, while there are tons of tools, you don't need to learn them all at once, because they're not all applicable. So yeah, we can break that down. Cool. Cool. And then we do have 6 more minutes. So I did want to just touch on that. So this whole 201 club model, that big smart plan that that's introduced with that model is called the 36 Touch Carolinas region. And you can find that under the library by searching 36 Touch Carolinas region. But I want to show you what that actually does. Okay. So the first step of the smart plan is to go remind you to update that information, so that, you know, we can set this up so that, okay, if 3, 5 contacts is feasible for your business, how many do you think you could actually go reach out for and get that information from? So that you don't have to look at 200 or 1,200 contacts and be like, oh no, I have to update all the contact information. Instead, you can get reminded in little chunks. So we can do 3 contacts a day to go reach out to those 3 people to go complete that contact information. And then what's really cool about the smart plan is that it then adds them to the top smart plans to be on. So for example, my quarterly call plan, we'll just add them to remind you to call them once a quarter. So you don't need to remember who you called last, who to call next. It will just remind you to do it with 3 contacts a day. And then the birthday, it adds them to the birthday ones. So given they have a birthday in there, it will remind you 7 days before to go reach out. And then it can even send them a text on their birthday automatically if you have Twilio. Yes. So a couple, well, there's, yeah. I don't think necessarily that's that. So there's maybe one reason in the smart plan is that it does give you a task notification to go reach out on social media. So I guess in theory, that task would come up with that contact. You could click on the contact name. Since you have their profile, you could click on their profile and go right to their page. I wouldn't say that's like the best. I don't think you need it because even with like Facebook ads, you can target your database with Facebook ads, but it's pulling their email from Facebook. So it's not even pulling their, I don't think so. So I wouldn't think that's needed unless it just makes that extra step of like reaching out social media a little easier. Yeah. And then, yeah, exactly. And then, yeah, then you can reach out there. Yeah. And then, but then like, cause with that social media, I might find it just easier to go to Facebook and search for that contact and then like post it that way than to just like have to find everybody. Yeah, it would, especially on the command app. All right. Well, that is all for today. I know we kind of covered a wide span more than postcards. But any questions, any more questions before?
And it just import says however you have them, whether, you know, because you have things so weird under there like cleaning maybe. Or...
Yeah, it does import them however you have it in there. Yeah, you can always clean them up from command. So like, yeah, you can make any changes, their name, info. If you get them imported in there, they can all that information can be changed in command and even deleted, you know, you don't have to keep them. All right, well, if there's no other questions. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. And of course, let us know if we can help and book an appointment. And we're always here and happy to help to do it together. We could always do it together.
It's like a plan.
Woo. Thanks.